Hey everybody, it's Thursday and I'm so excited to see you dressed in your costumes today. Today we're still working on subtraction. Our goal is to become very fluent with adding and subtracting um, through 1,000. So we're still having the same what. We're learning to use different strategies to help us find the difference in numbers. We want to be fluent at that, so that's our why. And how we're going to know is when we can persevere and use different strategies to get the difference on two numbers. So the first thing that we're going to start out with today, and we're going to be talking about something new, so I'm pretty excited about what we're going to be learning today. So today we're going to be subtracting across zeros. I know. Who doesn't dread that? I mean, we already know in our mind that zero can't take away anything. So we don't have to be spooked by it. This isn't a scary thought because I've got a trick, just like a magician, up my sleeve that's going to allow us to be able to subtract across zeros very easily. So the problem that we're going to look at today is about Abby. Abby likes to do magic tricks. She has a total of 300 magic tricks that she would like to learn. She has already learned 168 of them. How many more magic tricks will she need to learn to reach her goal? So let's think about what numbers we have here. We're seeing 300, we're seeing 168. We're asking the question of how many more she needs to learn before she can reach that goal of 300. So you may be thinking in your head already some strategies that we've learned, like drawing our base 10 blocks, drawing those pictures to help us represent that, using a number line, or using partial difference. But today I'm going to show you that trick like I promised. There is a quick little trick that you can do when we're subtracting across zeros to make the number easier. We again know that we can't subtract anything from zero because zero has no value. So what we're going to do today is going to do this trick that's going to help you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that trick. But before we do that, we need to write a number sentence or an equation that we can solve this problem for Abby to find out how many more she needs to learn. So I know that she wants to learn 300. That's her goal. That's going to be the whole number that we're going to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and put 300. And I know that I'm going to have to be taking away that part that she already knows to find out what she still needs to learn. And that's going to be 168. I'm going to go ahead and put a variable there. Remember, we talked about a variable yesterday that it represents any number that could be the answer here or that we're looking for, what's unknown to us. So we're going to be trying to find out what is the answer to this particular problem in hopes that we can find out what the value of that x is, meaning again, that it's just unknown and it's not there to confuse you. It's just something we're trying to find out the value of. So in this case, I want you to think about how I can start doing that subtraction. And I'm hoping you're coming up with some of your own ideas, but since we're not going to have a live lesson today, I'm just going to end up having to tell you. Normally we would talk about these things, but I'm going to show you a little trick that you can do when we're subtracting across zeros that's going to make it easier for you to subtract. You just have to remember to do one little thing. So I know that I'm going to start out and I'm going to stack them. I normally don't stack my subtraction problems, but I'm going to in this case because I'm going to be changing something up. And actually, I'm going to be changing up that 300. Do you know that if you just subtract 1 from that number, it's going to change that number drastically to make it easier to subtract? So I'm going to subtract from 299. Do I have to think about regrouping anymore? No, because normally I would have to regroup, and I know that I can't get anything out of the tens place. So I've got to go all the way to the hundreds place and do all of this regrouping. This is going to eliminate that for me. This trick's going to eliminate that. So I've got 299. Can I subtract 168 from that? Absolutely. I don't even have to think about regrouping or anything. I can use some of those strategies I've learned like counting up to get to the next 100 and then get to the next number to make that number easier for me, I can use the number line. I can count backwards. I can draw pictures at this point, but I'm going to be subtracting 168 from 299. So I want you to pause the video and get me an answer for 299 minus 168. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up here because I just don't usually stack those numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I want you to pause your video and get me an answer to this problem. I don't like how that looks either, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and stack it. So I'm going to put it back down here. Miss Bays is just really picky about how she does that. So just look over that. Go ahead and pause your video. Okay, so because I know now that I can subtract very easily, I'm just going to go ahead and start subtracting. 200 minus 100 equals 100. Not sure why that line popped up. Hold on just a second. Let me fix that because I can't take that line showing up there. So I know that's going to be 100. I know that 90 take away 60 is 30. And I also know that 9 take away 8 is 1. So that's part of the answer. But there's still something I have to do. Now, you've got to think about what you did at the beginning. You took 1 away. So that means you took an extra 1 away that we didn't need to take away. So what am I going to have to do to my answer that I got from this subtraction to get the correct answer for the problem? So if I took 1 away, how do I undo that? How do I undo taking something away? You said it. We give it back. We give it back. So I've got to add 1 to this answer. So I'm going to add 1 to 131. And the answer to this particular problem is x is equal to 132. 132. Do you see how easy that trick just made this problem for me? I didn't have to think about regrouping all the way across those zeros. I could just subtract normally and then add that 1 at the end to get my answer. So my answer is 132. All right, so I'm going to have you to take a little brain break, and I want you to write in the private comments where you turn in your lesson to tell me what your favorite Halloween movie is. I would also like for you to tell me my favorite. I'm going to show you a quick little clip for a hint of mine. So now what you're going to do is after you finish this video, you're going to go to your lesson work and you're going to tell me what your favorite Halloween movie is, and then you're going to tell me what mine is based on the hint and that small clip that I showed you. All right, so let's do our last problem for this lesson, and we're still talking about Abby. Abby's friend Braden also likes to do magic tricks. He has been helping Abby learn some new tricks because he already knows 500 magic tricks. How many more magic tricks does he know if Abby has already learned 179 tricks? So we're going to think about how we can do this again with that little trick I just showed you. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and write our number sentence or our number equation. So let's think about what numbers we have here. We got to think about what number we're going to start with and what we're taking away from it to see what's left. So we know that Braden already knows 500 magic tricks. Abby's already learned some more than what she did in our last problem, but she still has some to go to reach her goal, but we're not worried about her goal at this point. We're worried about how many more magic tricks does Braden know if Abby knows 179. So we want to know how many more magic tricks he knows than Abby. So we're starting with number 500, and we're going to subtract that. We're going to subtract 179 from that, and I'm just going to put another variable of a there. Okay, now we're going to think about what little trick that I had up my sleeve that was going to help you subtract these numbers. The first thing we want to do is change that 500 by taking one away from it to make it easier for us. So I'm going to do 500 minus 1, and that's going to give me 499. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to rewrite my equation. So now it's 499 minus 179 is equal to A. Okay, so now we can start using strategies we know for subtraction to help us here. But the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to break it apart without really writing it down, but you can write it down on paper to help you. I'm going to go ahead and start in the hundreds place value, and I'm going to subtract from the hundreds. So I have 400 minus 100. And if you said 300, you're exactly right. Now I'm ready to do the tens place. I have 90 minus 70. And we all know that 90 minus 70 is 20. And then I have 9 minus 9, which gives me 0. But there's something I can't forget to do here. If I took one away to get that number to be easier for me to subtract, I've got to do something to give it back. And that's called inverse operation. If I take away, I can always add it back. If I add something, I can always take it away. So they can interchange one another. And in this case, I'm going to have to add 1 back to get the correct answer. So the correct answer to this particular problem is going to be 321. 321. Okay, I hopped over to our classroom target slide. I want to show you where I put those math anchor charts. You can see that that says that here, but in this particular case, I actually have 2 anchor charts on here. One of those is for just regular subtraction. And then I have one that is subtracting across zeros. So there's one for, that's the one for subtracting across zeros. And then this one's just going to be subtraction strategies like you've been learning. But I'm going to show you really quickly the slide for subtracting across zeros. So if you look at this picture, you see a little bunny in a hat, which kind of goes along with those magic tricks. But it's talking about subtracting across 0. So the first thing that you want to do is subtract 1 from the top number, or the largest number that you're subtracting from, the whole that you're starting with. So I subtracted that 1, and then I'm going to take the new number that I create with that and subtract the number that I should be subtracting based on the problem. And then I'm going to be adding 1 at the end. So if you need some additional assistance to look at this number or to look at this trick again, you can pull up that off of our classroom target slide to help you. That's all I have for today. Today's assignment will be doing the problem of the day, and then you're going to have a 5-question Google form that is talking about subtracting across zeros. So you can use this trick to help you solve those problems. I am looking forward to seeing you in your Halloween costumes today, and I'm also excited to for the activity that we're going to be doing today in our whole group. So everyone will need to watch the video today, and then I want to see what your favorite movie is. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So make sure that you just comment in those private comments on the lesson what your favorite Halloween movie is, and then also tell me what mine is based on the hint that I showed you. So everybody have a great day. Look forward to seeing you.